music, R&B, hip hop, pop,
I still get you.
reggae, EDM, indie, old school,
Side. Check it.
and sports talk.
Right here.
WorldStarHitRadio.com.
Welcome. Thank you so much for listening in today to Connecting Atlanta Radio, where we have an amazing special guest who I like to call the marketing master, Marquel. Say that 3 times fast over and over again. Okay, someone commented, hi, thank you. At least I know the comments are working.
Right.
So we're on Periscope Live as well. And but we are aired every Tuesday at 8 o'clock p.m. on the one and only, the #1 online radio station in Atlanta and across the United States, WorldStarHitRadio.com. So Marquel, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
An absolute pleasure to have you on.
I'm blessed to be here. I'm blessed to be here.
And I know that we have a lot of customers, I would say customers, but everybody's a potential customer, I guess.
Right.
A lot of people that are curious to know a little bit about your background and your history, and what made you decide to get into online marketing?
So, good question. So, first off, thanks for having me on. So, I guess the quick backstory is I've always been an entrepreneur like my whole life. So, even when I was growing up, taking out trash and selling candy, and the list just goes on and on and on. So, quick backstory, I guess I'll give you the whole rundown. I don't know how much time we got, but I'll give you the abridged version.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, basically, I grew up here in Atlanta. my mom raised me and my 2 sisters by herself. And everybody around us wasn't necessarily wealthy or rich.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was pretty living, the poverty line or below. And even when I was young, I was like, I want to be rich, I want to be wealthy, but our circumstances didn't show that anybody from around us could get rich unless you went to the NBA or the NFL or you sold drugs. Because at that time, the only people who was making a lot of money who I knew personally was selling drugs. So as a young, easily influenced young man, that's the route I went. And I ended up dropping out of high school in 10th grade. My entrepreneurial gene says, school is done, so I went that route. So I got a 9th grade education, and I just kind of went in the streets full time. So I had my first son when he was 19. Well, when I was 19, right?
Okay.
I had my first son when I was 19. That would have been weird. So I had my first son when I was 19. I was actually in jail when he was born, so I was like, man, my dad wasn't around growing up. Maybe he went this route. So I said, okay, let me try something different. I said, when I get out, I'm going to get me a good job, quote unquote. And so I said, I'm going to get me 2 jobs, because one job ain't going to get it. I mean, everybody who I knew had one job wasn't making any money. Everybody who I knew, they wanted to grow up and work for the city and things of that nature. So I went and got me a job working, changing oil and tires on big 18-wheelers at the Petro, right off the Bankhead here in Atlanta. And I was looking at the list one day, and it said every hour they make $300. I make $8. I'm like, that's pimping. I'm out of here. So I went back to what I knew best, found myself in the streets again. I started an entertainment company doing like artist management, club promotions, and so forth. And it started to go well. I didn't know anything about the entertainment industry. I just kind of jumped into it head first. And while I was hanging in the club one night, a guy walks up to me and introduced me, kind of pitches me on this amazing opportunity. So I said, cool. So I went to this event.
You were open.
I was open.
Yep.
I was open. He was like, it's a legitimate opportunity. They're making millions and all this different stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like, what do I have to lose? At least going to check it out. So I went to check it out. They sold me on this thing called network marketing. I didn't know anything about network marketing at the time, but I saw it and I jumped in head first. So the idea they showed me, all you have to do is, get a couple people and then they'll go get a couple people and you can make millions of dollars. So I was like, cool. So I jumped in. Everybody who I knew thought I was crazy. They was like, this is a pyramid scheme and you let them trick you. And I'm like, what is this? So one of my mentors, the guy who, introduced me to the opportunity, they believed in me, more than I believed in myself. So he gave me a laptop, invited me out to an event. I went to the event and saw people really having real success. So I came out of the event excited. I had my belief level went from here to here.
Right, because they could have tricked you, but they may not have been able
Tricked
to trick all those people.
Right, because I'm like, I went to this event, it's thousands of people there. So I'm like, maybe they could have got me, but I'm like, it's thousands of people here. They couldn't have got all of us, and this was really, really good. So I came out, I started having success, but it plateaued really fast because I didn't really understand marketing. They just told me to go out and talk to as many people as possible. So I did that. And it plateaued. So I'm like, man, how do I really get rich in this. I'm like, the people who are really having success can't be talking to one person at a time.
Right.
So somebody in my team actually introduced me to online marketing. I went online, started buying all these products. It's like I can automate my whole business, and people join and buy my products on autopilot. So I bought into a hook, line, and sinker. Literally went broke trying to buy all this stuff because my thoughts was everybody had said knowledge is power.
Right.
So I was like, the more knowledge I can accumulate, the more power I have.
Right.
But in reality, I found out that knowledge isn't power. It's actually applied knowledge is power.
Yeah, the application of it.
Exactly. But I wasn't applying anything, so I didn't have any power. I just had a whole bunch of knowledge.
Right.
So once I started taking action and got focused, things started to change, and things started to change fast. So I started getting results. I started being asked to speak at events, coach people and so forth. A lot of people started reaching out, and I found out that my passion was coaching other entrepreneurs, discovering their passion, and assisting them in building businesses using the internet. Because just with a phone or a camera, or we can literally have a global business. So right now, it can be people all over the world watching us.
Right.
So if you got social media or anything, you have a global business. But a lot of people don't know how to systematically, put it into place. So so that's really what led me to where I am now. So now I regularly go to events and speak about, leveraging internet to build 6 or 7-figure businesses, how to build your personal brand, how to generate leads online. So that's my quick story in a nutshell.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, so now, tell us a little bit about, now, if anyone doesn't know, Marquel does not work for anyone else.
No.
He is self-employed, but he owns a business owner, and he leads a lot of individuals. I don't know how many you have part of your business, but he has his own pretty much marketing company.
Right.
Where he has other owners who can become affiliates of your company as well.
Right.
And so he's able to help kind of like, it's like an affiliate marketing company is really what you have. It's not technically network marketing, but it is affiliate marketing. So all of us, if you're in marketing, a lot of marketers, there's tons of people that are just affiliates out there that make thousands and thousands of dollars off of that. So he allows them not only the opportunity to get education, but also during that, when you're learning it, you can apply it through the affiliate piece of it and make your income back that way as well. Right. So tell us a little bit about the name of the company and some of the value that people get from that.
Okay, so the name of the company is Infinite Success University. So basically I found that it's 2 reasons entrepreneurs go out of business. And it's they don't understand how to generate consistent leads, and they don't understand how to convert those leads into paying customers and then to raving fans. So in Infinite Success University is like a one-stop shop. So instead of being all over the place, trying to figure out how to build your business, and got to go here, and got to go here, and got to go here, we created essentially a hub where any entrepreneur can plug into and understand step by step how to start and or launch a business from the marketing standpoint, from the branding standpoint, from the lead generation standpoint, all in one place and simplified fashion.
Trying to get us back on Facebook, sorry.
That's okay. So that's what we really do when we focus on showing entrepreneurs, no matter their skill level, their background, or whatever, how to plug into our community and start getting results and building their business. And of course, we know there's hundreds of millions of entrepreneurs across the globe who are struggling from a lead generation standpoint. Other entrepreneurs can go out and share it with other people, because essentially we want to impact 1 billion people from all across the globe. So the way we do that is by incentivizing our members to go out, and share it with other people.
Share it with other people
we pay
as well.
them,
Right, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, because I know there's people that have these affiliate types of platforms, and then they bring companies that are affiliates that offer these affiliate programs for them to go out and market it. But it could be anything from like credit, it could be all kinds of stuff. But at least the advantage of yours is not only do you have the opportunity to be able to create understand like you're learning an education system, plus you have the opportunity to make money as well.
Absolutely.
So it's awesome. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. And then they can apply that same knowledge that they're learning to create for the affiliates to any other products or services or whatever that is that they're looking to set up. So, and I actually became affiliated with your business as well. And so I look forward to getting some one-on-one phone consulting sessions.
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting
from you.
Yeah, I'm excited
for this coming year. So
it's gonna be awesome.
So one of the other things that you shared when I came out to one of your events is something which really stuck with me, and I think is really important for other women to understand and know, is that when you had invested all that money in the marketing information and pretty much almost went broke doing it, your wife was the one that was working at the time, right?
Exactly.
And she stuck by you regardless through all of that.
Right.
And so I think that's fantastic. So
Yeah.
what do you think? Why do you think that? What do you think is probably different about your wife or your type of relationship that you guys had that made it a little bit different from other women who maybe like, oh, forget him, he ain't working, he ain't got no job.
Right. No, you're right. You're right.
He still ain't got no job, but now she's reaping the benefits of that.
And the cool thing, the crazy thing was, the interesting thing is, she wasn't even my wife at the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we got married, you know, since then, but
you're like, oh, she's a keeper.
I gotta keep her, right?
Stick with that.
So I guess the biggest thing was, she knew when we met, you know, the lifestyle I was living and so forth. So I was never a job kind of guy.
Yeah.
So she kind of guessed she knew I was gonna figure it out eventually. So I was just, whatever I do, I really immerse myself all in it. Whether I was doing, you know, wrong in the streets or doing real business, I just immersed myself into it. So she just supported it and was like, I guess she was like, you know, you're gonna figure it out eventually, right? So I just really.
But she knew who you were at your core.
Right,
she
exactly.
believed in you. Okay.
She wasn't trying to change me and be like, well, you just need to go get a real job or, you know, stuff like that. So I actually had picked up a job. My mom actually always been an entrepreneur as well. So she had an office, like a telemarketing office. So I was managing her office. I had, you know, background in telemarketing and stuff. So I was managing her office. And even then, I was like, I just feel closed in. So I couldn't even do that long. But
that was for your mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went and picked that up for a little while. And I helped her, you know, get her office going good. And I was, you know, getting paid weekly, and I was like, I just can't do this. I can put this time into my own thing.
Yeah.
So I just really focused all the way in and just was like, I'm gonna figure it out by any means.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So now I met your wife. She's an amazing woman, and you can really see the love between you both, which I think is great. So I think that's awesome. And then you guys, you recently took them on a vacation.
Right.
Where you guys went to Florida or something like that, or California or somewhere.
Yeah, we went.
You have a picture of you guys in the pool.
Yeah, we went to Disney. It was at Disney World.
Disney World, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, cool.
Florida then, yeah. So, just in case anyone has some questions. So, with that, one of the things that you had said as well is, I've been out to one of his workshops, by the way, so this is how I know some of this stuff.
Right.
But is that you knew that you allowed your family, because they stick by you while you're spending a lot of hours building your business and so forth, and that you just splurged for them as well. But one of the biggest things, I think, tell us why. I don't need to answer it, I know the answer, but let me let you answer that. Why did you allow them to splurge?
Because, I mean, a lot of times, I mean, my opinion is all about, life is about experiences. So a lot of times, a lot of people think it's all about accumulating a lot of money. And you know, generating a lot of money is great. But it's really about having those lifelong experiences. So, for example, when you get old and you can't move around and you got $100 billion and you haven't ever traveled outside of Atlanta.
Right.
I mean, what was the purpose? I mean, you just accumulated all this wealth and now you just leave it to your family. So it's really about experiences. So it's all about having those peak life experiences. You know, going to Disney, flying airplanes. Like, I never flew in the airplane until I was 25 years old when I started making my own money. So I didn't go to Disney and stuff like that growing up. So that stuff is like important, having those experiences. So now the kids, that expands their mind. And once you expand your mind, you never kind of go back to original. So we went down, we was at a resort. And the cool thing about our business and leveraging the internet, even while we was on a trip, the business was still running because you had certain systems and things that in place. So the business funded the trip, and even while we were on the trip, the business, it was taking care of everything that we were spending. So I think that was pretty cool. Yeah,
so I think that was one of the things is that that you just, key things that you just said was systems. You had systems in place that was generating income for you while you weren't there.
Right.
So a lot of people want to become actors, artists. They want to get be in movies or video games or whatever, because they do that one time, they create the residual income.
Exactly.
But not everybody's going to have the ability to be able to do that. But anybody can learn through a marketing system, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. So what would you say is probably the top 3 things for anyone that's looking to start a company and wants to really get their brand out there? Okay,
great question. So the first thing is, it's really, everything starts with vision for me. So ultimately, like, what is your vision? Like, ultimately, what do you want your business to look like, and ultimately, what do you want your life to look like? So really get detailed, like, to the moment of when you wake up, where do you wake up, where do you live, what does your house look like, you know, what kind of bed you sleep in, the floors, I mean, where do you drive, kids, you got to get crystal clear on like what does your ideal life look like, because that vision pulls you through all the inevitable challenges as an entrepreneur. Because a lot of people make it like entrepreneurship is just this rosy thing, everything is smooth and it's cool, but of course we have these challenges. So when you have these challenges, your vision pulls you through those challenges, which smooths it out. So everything for me always starts with vision. A lot of people quit because they get started in their business and it doesn't work out how they thought it was going to work out because they lack vision. They quit and they go back to mediocrity or doing whatever. So number one is vision. Number two, I always tell people to figure out a business, figure out something you're passionate about. Don't listen. So some people say, it's two different thoughts. Some people say, well, you can't do business around what you're passionate about. Figure out what you can make money with. My thing is, you can build a business around your passion. I don't care what your passion is. I've got clients who do dog sitting. I got a client in Oregon, she loves dogs. So she does, I assist her with growing a business around dog sitting. Now she wakes up every day excited about life. She loves it. So I always tell people.
She used to go walk dogs.
Yeah, because she walks dogs. And she was like, Marco, I never knew I could build a business. If it's just about money, you won't do it long term.
Right.
So you gotta have something that you're super passionate about, keeps you fired up, and it's almost, a lot of people don't like to use the word obsession, but it's really like an obsession. Like entrepreneurship is something I'm passionate about, and it's an obsession for me. So I like reading about entrepreneurs and reading books and going through courses, going through events, and just really understanding marketing and business from a whole standpoint. So number one is vision. Number two is figuring out what your passion is. And number three is, how can you take that and solve somebody else's problem? So
that's the key thing right there, yeah.
Right. Because as entrepreneurs, we solve problems. And the bigger problem you solve, the more money you make.
Right.
So you don't have to worry about...
the more people you can serve.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
So you don't have to focus on making money. All you focus on is solving problems. Like Bill Gates, he wasn't focused on solving problems. I mean, he wasn't focused on making money. He was focused on getting his software on every computer in the world because he knew that it was a need.
Right.
So now he's became Bill Gates.
Right.
And the list just goes on and on. Steve Jobs, the list just goes on. So you figure out, okay, Ray Kroc with McDonald's, he was like, we know people want food fast.
Right.
They don't have to cook. So we figure out how we duplicate this.
Right.
So figure out what kind of problem can you solve. So maybe you're into fitness. Maybe you lost a lot of weight and now you're really excited about fitness. So you can go out and share that with other women or men or whatever the case may be. Maybe you love kids. So now you can help people become better parents or whatever the case may be. Entrepreneurship is something for me. So how do I assist entrepreneurs with launching and growing their businesses? Because I believe that entrepreneurship is the backbone of the economy. Right. Without entrepreneurship, there's nothing. So a lot of people look at the president to start business. A lot of people say, well, when the president's going to start jobs and all this, I'm like, well, it's really about the entrepreneurs. Right. Entrepreneurs, we get the tax deductions and so forth. So we really have the leverage and the power to really create whatever we want. So vision, what's something you're passionate about? And so much so that's an obsession. And number three is, what problem can you solve?
For that. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like, when's the president going to create jobs? Government doesn't really create, they take.
Right.
And when are we going to create the jobs? The second that when we take the responsibility and put it in ourselves and really understand that it's our responsibility to predict our future, to set up our future, to control it, and so forth, that is when things start to happen.
Absolutely.
And make moves. So,
absolutely.
So that's awesome. So if you could have anything, like with your company and where you're looking to go and stuff like that in the next 2 years, where do you envision your organization?
So in the next 2 years, it's a great question. In the next 2 years, we want to have at least 1,000 of our members making six figures.
Okay.
So in the next 2 years, 24 months, we want to have at least 1,000 members making six figures. Because that's a lot of times their goal. They want to either get to 5,000 or 10,000 a month. So now they can quit their job. They can do a lot of these other stuff that they want to do. So at least have 1,000 members making six figures. And by us doing that, we've been able to impact. We would have impacted a lot of people. Right. So we'll be able to, we'll build. Because our goal is to build schools and like Kenya and Ghana and different countries like that and water wells and stuff like that. So really having that charitable contribution part. And empowering a lot of entrepreneurs, so now they can go out and impact, at a higher level as well. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. And so, thank you, by the way. If you guys have not seen him, and he will be doing one coming shortly, but you've done some workshops at for my organization, Connecting Atlanta, and one of the things was when you had first came out and spoke, and it was just really a last minute thing. I just met him through Hotep with healthstreamuniversity.org.
Right.
And I was enamored by the way that you talked, and you were extremely professional.
Thank
And you just really knew your stuff. You know what I'm saying? I could tell that you were passionate
Absolutely.
about, you know, what you did, and you knew what you were talking about
Right.
too. I like to BS a lot, so I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. So anyways, and so I had asked him to come out, and because we were doing our next workshop, which was going to be like in a week or something like that, and you just came on faith and didn't know what kind of turnout we were going to have, or had never really didn't know anything about me or my organization. So I just wanted to say thank you for that.
No problem.
And I'm looking forward to doing some stuff with you and
Absolutely.
the company this year. But 2016 is going to be off the chain.
Absolutely. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing.
So I definitely would love to be one of those 1,000.
Yeah.
I will be.
You will be.
One of those 1,000 people this year, though. I'm not going to wait 2 years.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So.
It's time. It's easier than ever, actually.
Yeah. So that's what they were talking about. They said, I was reading some type of system, and they said with online education systems, this really is the trajectory for that, for webinars and online education and stuff, because this is the peaking point of, oh my gosh, it's it's where it has the level where it starts to go up slow, and then all of a sudden it shoots up really fast, and it's really easy to make money in that market during the time that everybody's doing it. I mean, you know that it's going fast. Tipping point. This is the tipping point.
Right.
For online marketing, for for stuff like that. So it's really exciting, and so if you're looking to do something, really, because even though internet has been around for 15 years, it really takes a long time for things to really grab a hold where everybody has it, especially now that internet is off of dial-up. Teenagers today is like, what's dial-up?
Exactly.
They're like, what is that?
Exactly.
Who's AOL?
It's crazy. We was actually in we went to the mountains like a month or so ago, and my 2-year-old, the regular phone, he saw a phone on the dresser, and he was like, Dad, what's that? So the kids are like, what's a real phone? What's dial-up? Like, it's crazy.
And so you have that, and then now really everything is like really transitioning from your computer to your to your handheld, your cell phone, your iPad, your Samsung, whatever it is, whatever mobile device. There was a customer of mine that has a company in the UK. And he was like, only business owners have actual computers. Everybody else in the United Kingdom is on iPads, some type of tablet, or your phone. Yeah. That's it. They don't want to carry around a big, heavy laptop. Yeah. Even the college students are still stuck to their laptops and stuff like that here. But
yes, my son at their school, he's 12, so he's in 6th grade, and they have laptops. I was there for the Parents' Day or whatever. So they like pass out laptops. I'm like, wow, they got laptops.
I know.
Not laptops. I apologize. They iPads.
iPads. Wow, nice.
I was like, wow, that's crazy.
We're like, dang, they don't even understand how this is an everyday thing for them.
Yeah, they just pass out because they got a big stack of them. So they just pass. Hey, get the iPads. I'm like, wow, it's crazy.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So and so with marketing and so on your system, like on your online education system, when someone comes on there, what is it that they're learning? Like, what are some of the programs and stuff that you have, or education systems and everything that you have in there?
Okay, so one of the biggest things we focus on is like infrastructure, like really focusing on your branding, really getting crystal clear on like who your target audience. So a lot of people think that everybody's my customer, everybody can use my product, and that may be true, but you got to get crystal clear on like who exactly is your audience, because now you can create the messaging around it. So you got so for example, one of my mentors, he calls it the marketing pyramid. So he said the pyramid is market, message, and media. So you got to get crystal clear on who's your market. So once you get crystal clear on who's your market, now you can create the message that speaks to them. And then you figure out the media that you're going to use, whether it's video or blogging or whatever, or direct mail or whatever. So if you're talking to, for example, I had a friend of mine, he started an online business and he was selling like batting tips, like how to become a better batter. I think he was like an All-American baseball player or something like that. And his market, he thought, was, you know, boys who play baseball or college boys, but they don't have money. So when he switched to messaging and started talking to the parents and the coaches, he built that into $1 million business. But he wasn't making any money at first because his messaging was off. Or his market was off. Therefore, his message was off.
Right.
You know, so a lot of people miss that. They're trying to market to everybody.
Right.
Instead of saying, okay, here's my ideal customer, here's my target audience, and here's how I can assist them, and then you create the messaging. So, because if you're talking to baby boomers, the messaging is different than talking to what we call today millennials.
Yeah.
It's two different things.
Yeah, that's true.
You gotta get crystal clear on. If you're talking
So
to women, it's different from talking to men.
He was still able to get to the students, but he just did it through the moneymakers.
They just come by. Yeah, he was still getting it. You just had to go to the people who had the cards.
Right.
Exactly. Because they was talking to these people. They wanted it, but they didn't have the money.
Right.
So now we start talking to the people with the cards.
Right.
Then
It's easier to convince the person with the card directly than it is to have somebody else sell it for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's awesome. I was going to say, when we were in, when I was like in my 20s and I was in between jobs, I was trying to figure something out. And I didn't want to go back to corporate America at the time, and still don't, but we had, me and my girl created a dog walking business in Dog City called the Wolf Walkers.
Wow. A dog sitter?
Yeah, down in South Florida.
Wow.
It didn't really take off though.
Wow.
But we did try it for a while and
Right.
stuff like that, but we didn't stick with it long enough.
Wow.
So, anyways, I just thought that was kind of funny.
That's a
We were
cool
talking
business.
about that
That's a
lady.
cool business model. Yeah, yeah, because she does pretty well. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So shoot, I would once I move past and am free from corporate America and stuff like that, I can use it now. It's like I'd be able to have someone you trust to be able to come over and walk your dog.
Right.
All my neighbors that I trusted have moved, so I'm not gonna find other people.
Exactly.
So so it's awesome. So okay, so you have your company, and now why don't you talk about the social media sites that Marquel uses to push out your message and where people can find you?
So I use Facebook. I'm on Facebook probably more than anything. So I use Facebook. Of course, Facebook Marquel Russell. You just type in Marquel Russell in the search box.
And it's 1 L in Marquel.
1 L in Marquel and 2 L's in Russell, and I'll pop up. So it's Marquel Russell. I'm on Twitter. So all of my social media is Marquel Russell.
Okay.
So it's Facebook, Twitter, Periscope,
Okay.
Instagram,
All right.
and YouTube. So
Okay.
it's all Marquel Russell.
Okay.
So we put out a lot of free content. So like our blog at marquelrussell.com. It all hooks up to all our social media. We put out free content all over. So like YouTube, Periscope, iTunes. We have the I Love Entrepreneurship podcast.
Nice.
Yeah. So
How did you get set up with the podcast?
So I got a buddy of mine. He actually has a podcast. He has like the #1 business podcast. One of the top business podcasts. He does like, I think now he does about $250,000 a month.
Wow. Is that an advertising or people buying his services or
Both.
what is it?
Advertising, people buying his services, just
Okay.
everything all together. So he did really well with his podcast. So I bought one of his courses. I think it was like $1,000. So I was like, okay, let me figure out what this guy's doing.
Right.
So I just kind of went through it and just implemented it completely. And I'm just gonna go after it. So because like iTunes, a lot of people aren't tapping into iTunes, and podcasting is so big because like you see, we're on internet radio right now. I mean, Shaquille O'Neal has a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
The two guys who has the twin brothers who has the real estate show. I can't think of their names, but they have a podcast. Tim Ferriss from 4 Hour Work Week, he has a podcast. So podcasting is really.
I've just started getting into it, and I've probably had an iPhone through my iTunes, and
Yeah.
I've had an iPhone for probably like 3 years.
Yeah, podcasting is huge. It's huge. So like Google has a podcasting platform now. You have Stitcher. A lot of the newer cars have the podcast in their dashboard, so you can literally just skip the news and all that different stuff and just listen to exactly what you want to listen to. So it's pretty cool. So it's definitely one model or one form of content that I always recommend people get into.
Which I was thinking is important because we're getting away from standard radio.
Right.
It as much as they don't want to believe it, it is kind of a dying
Right.
business model because
Right.
people are starting to listen to what they want
Exactly.
to listen to. I
Right.
don't want to have to be controlled by what you are trying to
Right.
feed to me. I want to listen to what I want to listen
Exactly.
to. And so I guess podcasting is a great way to do that.
Exactly.
So, yeah, so this is what I was going to say. Is for your vehicle, would you consider your car, what do you listen to most of the time in your car?
I'm always listening to something instructional. So I'm like, I was just listening to Dan Kennedy. You familiar with Dan Kennedy?
Mm-mm.
I was listening to Dan Kennedy. He's like the founder of like magnetic marketing and stuff like that. So I was just listening to one of his CDs. I'm either listening to that or on my phone I got like a ton of audiobooks. So I got Audible on my phone.
Uh-huh.
So I just finished up Grant Cardone's 10X Rule.
Okay.
I was just listening to to Dan Kennedy's CD. It's called Income Explosion or something like that. So I'm always listening to something like instructional, empowering type. It's my university, like it's mobile university.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. Is like a lot of people utilize it to listen to the radio or whatever, and I get caught up in listening to talk radio, and then I'm like, oh my god, this is just so negative. Yeah. And they just try to instill so much fear in you all the time. I'm like, I gotta get away from this. Yeah. So I was listening to Pastor Rick Warren today on podcasting. Yeah. And so he was really the one that kind of got me into the podcast. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I was thinking, oh my gosh, there's so many other people that you could really listen to, and it is your mobile university. Right. I used to listen to my Amway CDs all the time, but now that I'm not building, I'm still a distributor, so if you want to buy any products, you can send them to my site. But I'm not, building the business anymore because I'm building Connecting Atlanta. But okay, so that is a huge thing, and not only that, but it sets you up as an industry leader, and so people start to get to know you, they start to trust you, even though they've never talked to you. Exactly. And trust what you have to say because it's stuff that hits their spirit. So I think that's awesome. Yeah, it's powerful. So it's really about just teaching. So in today's marketplace, I was actually, since you talked about Hotep, we actually had a meeting earlier. And that's the biggest thing I was telling him, like, it's all about teaching in your content. Oh, were you there at 6 o'clock? Yeah, I was there at 6 o'clock. Okay. So I left there and came straight here. Yeah. So it was like, I was telling him, like, because he's like, I don't really, people giving it a run. I'm like, look, you have to teach. Like, you have to teach people. The way I was listening to this audiobook. He needs to have that. Yeah, so I was listening to an audiobook, once again, called Rework. Right. And the guy was like, does he not have any of his books on audio? I think he's working on that. Okay. So I was listening to this one. I think this Rework is by Jason Fry or something like that. But he was like, the way you dominate your industry is you out-teach everybody else. So you put out so much valuable content where you just dominate it, and people are automatically attracted to you because they automatically see you as an authority. Versus you out just trying to pitch and sell. Yeah. So now once you teach, they want to buy from you. Right, right. Who is it? I was talking to Dominique Huff yesterday, and we were talking about, and I can't remember the lady's name. I wouldn't mention it anyways. But we were talking about like how like some people they'll do these videos and stuff like that, the live webinars, and then the whole time they're just trying to push. They're not really providing you with any valuable education at all. Exactly. It's like just enough to just kind of wet your tongue, but not really give you any kind of filling at all. Right. And then the only thing they're trying to do is just sell you the whole time, but you haven't given me anything enough to trust what you're doing. So, so I'm just like, the thing with Connecting Atlanta, when we do the free workshops, is we show enough value. Exactly. That these individuals, they leave with something. They can apply it to their business and they can do something with it. Right. Now, if they want consulting or something like that, they don't want to do it themselves. They can hire us, right, exactly. For consulting and or come out to the paid workshop that we're going to have on April 30th here in Atlanta. Absolutely. So make sure you stay tuned for connectingatlanta.net awesome. And Infinity University. Infinite University. Success University. Yeah, and that's what I said. InfiniteSuccessUniversity.com. Right. Sorry, my notes are turned over upside down. Or just Infinite Success U. I made it as short as possible. Oh, that's good. Okay. Infinite Success U. InfiniteSuccessU.com. Right. And you have your events and stuff like that up on there too, or? So we're adding that page to it. So we actually land up scheduled for this year. So I know the 16th will be in Americus, Georgia. The 9th we'll have one in Jacksonville, Florida, and then so. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, because you've done a lot of online stuff, and now you're moving more offline now. Yeah, so we're just basically integrating it. We're integrating the offline with the online. Because a lot of people are offline. Because the crazy thing about it, even we think the internet is big, it's like still in its infancy stages. So like right now, it's about 2.4 billion people online. Over the next 5 years, Google says another 4.8 billion. Wow. And growing is going to come online for the first time. So now is the time to really get online, get positioned. So now when people come online, they see you.
or your business.
Right, be prepared.
Exactly. It's time
Build up
now.
your brand, let people know this is the time. So don't be sitting on it, people.
No, it's time now.
Right now is the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, Marco, I mean, it was definitely a pleasure to have you come out.
Absolutely.
Is there any last thing that you'd like to share with the audience today?
No, I was just going to say, so today is December 29th.
Right.
Going into a new year. So my biggest thing is, a lot of people set New Year's resolutions.
Yeah,
and they've been setting the same ones for the past 5 years.
And done nothing with them.
Right, because they don't have a vision. So they set a resolution or a goal, but they don't even really see themselves in that space. So some people may set a weight loss goal. Right. They don't even see themselves fit.
Right.
They don't see themselves, in those jeans or at the beach with the shirt off or whatever it is. So you got to get clear on that. So the thing I suggest people do, create a vision for 2016. How do you want this time next year, December 29th, 2016, how do you want your life or your business to look?
And write it out.
And
create pictures and stuff like that. Right, yeah.
And then not only that, after you do that, take it a step further. Because we actually did our Inner Circle members last night. We really went into the strategic planning for 2016. So once
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, so the recordings in the members area.
Probably
so
in an email.
Yeah, so it's an email for sure. And in the Facebook group. But it's in the members area, so you can check out the recording. So basically, once you get that vision and know what you want and what it looks like, then you create a plan to get there. Some people say, well, I don't know how to create a plan to get there. Well, I don't know what to do. That's when you should reach out to a coach, Jackie or somebody who who's doing what you want to do, and get them to show you who's doing what you want to do and has created the results. They'll lead you instead of trying to figure it out on your own.
Right. Which is definitely the way to do it.
Absolutely.
So who would you say was, this is one last question. So who would you say was probably your first and most impactful mentor?
My first and most impactful mentor is, that's a great question. And I'll probably do like a blog post on it tomorrow. But to be honest with you, now that I'm thinking about it, I've had a lot of mentors. I spent a lot of money on coaching and mentoring and stuff like that. But I probably have to say my mom, to be honest with you. She actually passed a few years ago. But she was always an entrepreneur. And like a couple things that I took away, she never really let us see her sweat. So I'm sure she was going through stuff and raising 3 kids, but we never really saw her sweat. Number 2, when I was getting in trouble in school and stuff, your mom always think you're following somebody else. You're never the ring-leader, right? So she always say Russells are leaders. Like Russells are leaders. Russell's a leader. So I used to always hear that. And when I got into network marketing, she was the first person I hit up. I was like, check this out, because if it was a scam or something like that, she was going to know about it. So I sent her the link. I was like, check this out. Let me know what you think about this. So she checked it out, and she called me back and was like, she was like, well, if you market yourself and put some effort into it, it can work. So when she said that, I was like, okay, cool, I'm going to give this a try. Now, she could have said, well, nah, this is a scam, stay away from it. Or stay away from those things. And I probably wouldn't even dove in, and I wouldn't be here having this conversation right now probably. But because she was like, if you market yourself and put some effort into it, you can do it. Right. So I would definitely say my mom for sure.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I never even really thought about it until now. So that's a great question.
Yeah, you're going to be writing a blog post about that. Make sure you give me credit for asking
I
you
will,
the
for sure. I will. I definitely will.
So, all right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for listening in today and checking us out on worldstarhitradio.com. And we are signing off with Connecting Atlanta Radio. And thank you so much for coming on. Be sure to tune in next Tuesday. It'll be the first of the year. It will be the 5th, actually.
Awesome.
The day, the 5th.
Yeah.
And
you should be already implementing your action plan by then, right?
You should already have implemented your action plan by then, because any entrepreneur knows that it's already 2016. 100%. It has been for at least the last 60 days.
Absolutely.
So, well, thank you so much, everyone, and have yourself a fantastic
The hottest music, R&B, hip hop, pop,
I still get you.
reggae, EDM, indie, old school,
Side, check it.
and sports talk.
Right here.
WorldStarHitRadio.com.